Hey guys, I'm Adam86 and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking all about Arsenal's huge, possibly title defining um, game win against Man United at home 3-2. Um, what a roller coaster that was. I mean, holy crap. Part of the reason why it's taking me so long to get this video out is the fact that, needed time to get over it and kind of collect my thoughts and be a bit more level-headed when I do this video. So we're going to go straight into it. So obviously it was a huge game at home. Um, they're doing really well, Man United, right now. They've blatantly improved under Ten Hag. You can't deny that. In fairness, they couldn't have gotten much worse, but they have got better under him. Um, and also the fact that I think they were fourth at the time. I think they're still fourth actually. So it's they're only about, I think they're 11 points behind us now. But they were in and around. If we had lost this game, um, they wouldn't be too far off us. And I think they were only a point behind City at the time. So. Um, yeah, it was a big game. Obviously, it was quite strange in a really nice way that Arsenal versus Man United game is as big as it is once again. Like we all remember, 10, 15 odd years ago when it was arguably the best fixture in the whole season. Lots of fireworks in the past games. So yeah, it was kind of reminiscent of that. It was kind of nice having Arsenal and Man United back, in and around the top four, playing big games against each other. The fact that we're, obviously top of the league still. With this win, we were 5 points clear as well now, so with the game in hand. So, yeah, it was a big game, lots going into it. Obviously, they beat us at the Old Trafford. Please ignore my dog, she's determined to be in this video. They beat us at Old Trafford, so obviously we didn't want to go and give them 6 points in the season. And we wanted a bit of a payback. Um, but I knew that there was going to be goals in this game. People saying 0-0s and 1-1s or whatever, but I knew there was going to be plenty of goals. I knew Rashford was going to score. He likes to score against us anyway, but he's in arguably the form of his life right now. So it wasn't too hard to predict that he was going to score, and obviously he got there first. Um, so yeah, getting into the game, obviously last season we beat them relatively comfortably 3-1. Um, and I was kind of hoping for the same scoreline, to be honest with you. Um, I always want to beat Man United by as many goals as possible. Especially at the moment, some Man United fans are intolerable at the moment. Not all of them. There's a couple I know that are quite level-headed. Um, but they're already talking about being in a title fight, and they're going to be the ones that cost us this title, and they're going to be the ones that gives us our first couple of L's of the season, and blah blah blah. So it was nice to get the win over them. It wasn't hard. It was a bit of a weird game. The stats, if you look at the stats, I mean, it looks deceiving that it's 3-2. We outplayed them pretty much large stretches of the game. They do have a really good counter in them, though, especially with Rashford. If they get a decent striker, and a decent right back, they will be up there. I think they've improved so much. Their new striker from Burnley, like he was in that game, just purely in that game, didn't impress me at all. I was never ever worried about him. It was always Rashford for me. Um, so yeah, obviously conceding first didn't help. Absolutely blinding goal from Rashford. There's not really much we could do. We stepped off them too much, I think. But a long way shot, really powerful. Ramsdale didn't really have too much chance in saving it. And yeah, this would have been the quintessential moment when our season could have choked. We could have choked. We could have, and it would have done like last season and beyond last season. It would have been the time when we would have folded. Um, And the way Man United were playing, if we had done that, if we lost our heads, then they could have beaten us by 2, maybe 3 goals to nil. But the one thing that I've slowly learned over this season is our resilience. Um, Even going 1-0 down, and it's been rare this season that we've conceded first and been losing the game. Um, but immediate response. I mean, immediate response. I think it was like within 10 minutes or so, 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Um, Eddie Nketiah goes and scores his first goal. What a season he's having! Obviously, he's had to come in. Well, he's always been questioned at Arsenal, by myself included. Like, obviously, if you have beginning of the season, if somebody said, "Look, Gabriel Jesus, and Eddie Nketiah, who do you want starting most of the games?" I went Jesus. Everyone else went Jesus, but there are people out there that rate him have always rated him, which is cool. But he's proved us all wrong. Like this season, I think he stepped in. Jesus got injured over the World Cup, out for a couple of months at least. He stepped in and he's doing really well. He's scoring pretty much every other game, I think, in the stats. Um, so it was absolutely huge that he got the equaliser. It was great that we got back into the game quite quickly. Um, so 1-1, fair result, I think, at the time. I think it was 1-1 at half time. That was pretty fair. I mean, we were very, very sloppy, unusually sloppy in our passing. Um, in this first half, I don't know quite why. I don't know whether it's because it's all Man United or no, we lost against them. I don't really know. But we were unusually sloppy, and I think if we'd been our usual confident selves, I think we could have quite comfortably beaten United, way more comfortably than we did. Um, and then, obviously, we go, Bukayo Saka arguably cements his position as probably the best player in the league right now, except for maybe Haaland. Haaland scores like for fun, but Bukayo Saka, man, what a player. Adam McCullough, who's a famous United fan, always makes fun of the fact that we call him Starboy and he's not that kind of player. Well, you have to kind of agree that he is that kind of player now. Scored an absolute world class long range strike against David De Gea, who talked far too much smack before the game. Then was good for him. He's not been that great. Mostly, I see United fans on Twitter actively wanting a new goalkeeper because they don't really rate him that much anymore. So he got humbled in this game, in my opinion, which is deserved. He talked too much smack. So we go 2-1 up. It's great. It's cool. Thinking, okay, we are a second half team at the moment against Spurs. Spurs is an irregularity where we dominated in the first half, and the game was over by half time, and we just saw it out. Most of the time, we're a second half team. We do better in the second half than in the first. It's kind of how it went in this game. Um, um, and then they got the second goal. The second goal was the one thing that annoyed me about this whole entire game, to be honest with you. Um, Ramsdale has a moment in him when he has a little bit of a wobble. He pushed, like I said, corner came in, he punched it out, which is all fine and good, but it kind of just sat up straight for Martinez, who's the smallest player on the pitch, and just heads it in. Obviously, I think it was Nketiah or Gabriel, almost got a header on it, but couldn't. That was a stupid goal. Not the kind of goal you want to concede at home against Man United. But you're thinking, okay, are we going to get a point? If a point is all we get out of this game, then, like, it's not the end of the world. We're still top of the league. We're still got points in hand. But this fighting spirit from Arsenal, I mean, the last 10 minutes of this game was all Arsenal. It didn't help the fact that Eric Ten Hag blatantly and clearly was played for the draw. He was happy with the draw. As soon as Martinez's goal went in, you could just tell by his subs he brought Fred on. And you could just tell that he was like, okay, cool, we've got a draw. They've completely outplayed us. I mean, he didn't say that in his post-match thing. He made it out that they forced us to play long balls and they impacted our game. The whole bro didn't obviously watch the second half because If we had done, my dude Eric Ten Hag would have realised that we completely dominated that game in the second half. The first half was much more United were in play, but the second half we dominated that game. We just couldn't quite break them down. They're very good defensively, Man United. They're not that great offensively. If you take Rashford out of their team, they're pretty dog shit, yeah, offensively at the moment. Anyway, that's mainly because they don't have a striker. But yeah, my dude Eric Ten Hag obviously didn't watch the game because we completely outplayed them, outpassed them, and I think we had 25 shots. I think like all but four of them were in the box or in and around the box. I think one of the ones that was the long range shot was Bukayo Saka's long range worldie. So yeah, so we it was all us, especially in that last, and it was blatantly because we were looking for the win. Um, Times gone by, we would have been happy with the draw as well. We would have been okay, cool. At home, Man United, a point, fair enough. Um, and then obviously Nketiah just goes and kind of helps the ball in. It was a bit of a scrappy goal, well, scrappy end to a goal, but you don't care how it goes in. You just care that it does go in. It's calls offside or whatever. There's a VAR check, which kind of took the joy out of the moment, but it was given. I was like, bro, you just blatantly tell. If it had been in Old Trafford, VAR would have ruled that goal out for sure. Um, and I was surprised that they gave it. I mean, it was blatantly onside. There was no issues. But, VAR's been a little bit dodgy the last couple of seasons, especially with Arsenal. So you never really know what is going to happen. But it went in. It's 3-2 in pretty much the last kick of the game. And it was deserved. Like, anyone, Arsenal or Man United, will have to agree that based on the play, overall, and the stats, Arsenal deserved this win. The stats are incredible, by the way. Like the stats make us look like we dominated the entire game, which we didn't. The first half was a little bit sloppy, but and the goal, Martinez's goal, was sloppy as. Um, but we did deserve that goal, and we deserved that win, and we deserved the 3 points. There we go, 11 points clear of United. Apparently, Gary Neville thinks that they're still in the title race, which is hilarious, but it is what it is. Not going to talk too much about him. I could. I probably will do a video just on Gary Neville because I've got a lot of opinions and thoughts on that dude. But yeah, so we move on now. Obviously, we are 5 points clear of Man City, like I said, 11 points clear of Man United and Newcastle. So that pretty much effectively um, rules them out of the title race, which is kind of cool because now it's going to be a scrap. City, you would think, are ahead of that scrap. City now just chasing us and chasing us, chasing us. We've got one of, I would say, winnable games, but you never really know in the Premier League. You don't want to be too arrogant in the Premier League. Um, but we've got a fairly decent run of the next 6 or 7 games. Everton being next, we'll talk about that in a minute. But right now we've got a game in hand in Man City. Everton's actually the game in hand as well. So if we win that, we go 8 points clear. Absolute must win that game. And Everton just trash at the moment, but we'll talk about them in a minute. Well, my point I'm trying to make is that like we're 5 points clear of Man City. Um, Man City are ahead of the top four scrap. Now it's going to be a slog between United, Spurs, and Newcastle. They're all going to be fighting each other now. They're all going to be thinking who's going to take third spot and fourth spot, which is good. Hopefully, that little fight and that scrap distracts them a little bit, brings the points a bit down. I fully expect United to drop more points now, mainly because they're not as far into the project as some United fans would say. Um, Mark Goldbridge. It's weird because Man United fans are weird because on one hand they're crying out for players. They're crying out for we need to spend money, we need to buy players, and Ten Hag needs to be backed. He needs to be backed. There's work to be done in the squad. Blah blah blah. Then they'll also turn around and say, "Well, we're not that far away from the title fight. We're not that far off." Well, which is it? In my opinion, I think United are overperforming at the moment. I'm not trying to banter. For once, I'm not trying to banter United fan. This is how I see it. I think you're overperforming. I think Ten Hag is making average players look great. I don't think Rashford's form is going to stay as it is. I don't think this is Rashford's true form. I think he's just in a really good place. He's got a coach that finally that knows what he's doing. In regards to Rashford, anyway, um, De Gea's on his way out. I think his contract runs up in the end of the summer. I don't expect him to stay in United. Um, Martinez has been alright, I guess. Anthony's been an absolute flop so far. I mean, he could become good. I don't know. So the squad, Man United squad, need work, and I think the frailty they've had a very before Arsenal they had Palace. They drew against Palace, I think. Before Palace, they had a very, very, very kind run of form, run of fixtures and run of form, shall I say. They played Everton, who are trash right now. They played Wolves, who I think were bottom of the league when they played them. Aston Villa as well. I think they played like 6 or 7 really winnable games for Man United, even though Man United are not where they should be right now. So yeah, I fully expect Spurs to drop points. Newcastle to drop points. Newcastle not used to being where they are. And I'm very very happy that Arsenal are not in that kind of scrap for top four like we were last season. We're ahead of that. We should theoretically, touch wood, stay ahead of that. We'll get top four no matter what. Um, and yeah, at the moment it's just about winning our games, taking each game as it comes, um, keeping as much points between us and City as possible. Um, the pundits and the experts will say Arsenal are under pressure. They've got Man City breathing down their necks. They're under pressure. They're under pressure. They're gonna flop. They're gonna get leggy in the legs, as Gary Neville likes to say. Um, But I disagree. I think it's City the one that's under pressure. City have been absolute trash this season. Take Haaland out of their team, and they won't even be in the top four right now. Um, and they're the ones under pressure. Pep Guardiola expects the Premier League every single season, or at least to be within it, either leading or being a couple of points away from whoever is leading, which is normally Liverpool. Um, Liverpool dropped off. Chelsea are nowhere to be seen. They're in the absolute mud, rolling around somewhere down in 10th. Um, so it's just City, and they're the ones under pressure. They have to, I mean, to get the Premier League, they have to win pretty much every single one of the last remaining games. And it's crazy to say, especially when they've got 18, 19 games left to play. I think they've got 18 games now. They're the ones under pressure. They're the ones that have to win. They have to win. They have to win. They have to win. They have to win. Because they can win the next 2 games. If we beat Everton, they have to win 2 more games than us, and we're still ahead of them by 2 points. So that's a hell of a cushion to have against Man City. Um, so I don't think we're under pressure just yet. I think the squad's in an absolutely beautiful place right now. So together, the club is just there's it's not just we're top of the league and everything's great. Like everything was great pre-season. I don't think we even had a really good preseason if memory serves. Everything's great right now. The fans are great. The stadium's loud. Um, Even the new coverings around the stadium, everyone's so hyped about that. It's awesome. It's a really lovely feeling, and I haven't felt it for a long, long time. And that's what I'm really enjoying right now. Just enjoying the vibes, as they say. So yeah, take one game at a time. We gotta do what we gotta do, which is winning games. If we're in a similar position at the end of March, yeah, middle of April, then maybe we can start to dream. But yeah, so far so good. Sorry for the long video. Obviously, it's a lot to digest right now, and yeah, I'm really happy right now. We've got Everton, we've got Man City in the FA Cup. I probably won't do a video on that because it's the FA Cup. If we win it, it's cool. If we lose it, it's actually not the end of the world. Although some people will jump on that and go, oh, Arsenal can't beat Man City. I've got a funny feeling we win it anyway, to be honest with you. We're just playing really well. It depends on how Mikel rotates. be nice to see the new boy Trossard and a new defender as well. Hopefully they start the game, but we'll have to wait and see. I won't do a video for that, but I will do a video for the Everton game. So I'm actually going to go to the bar for the Everton game and watch it with my mates, which should be good. I haven't been there for a long time, so it'll be great. And then I've got work the next day, and then I'll probably do a video after that. So yeah, I'll do a video for the Everton game. Hopefully we win it. We should win it, but you never really know, especially with Everton sacking Lampard. Like we always seem to play teams that have either just sacked their coach or just hired a new one. Like all the time, I swear on my life that last time when Lampard got his job, I think we were his first game in charge of Everton when he took over. But anyway, you never really know. So there's a little bit of uncertainty now. Teams seem to just bounce back when they sack their coach, which is depressingly um, obvious. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so far so good, and we're enjoying the vibes right now. Hopefully, we can win that game, go 8 points clear, put more pressure on City, and we go from there. So yeah, take it easy, guys, and I'll see you guys very soon. Adios.